Okay, so part two of the discussion here with Draco. We're gonna be talking about just his top three characters he's most looking forward to. Kind of, because he's not trying to take our picks, but he also has some good ones. And disclaimer: no Saki clan leader Draco, no Saki clan leader's right hand man, no
Okay.
Saki clan leader's third son, no Saki clan leader's fifth cousin. All right, those are all off the table. Just for your information. All right, just so we get that clear. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure. My list, can I say my list now? We start from the bottom.
yep.
Starting from the bottom now we here. I'll just say my list, right?
Yeah, go ahead. You're number
I'll
three.
say it's my number three. How would you order your list, to be honest? Is it like from when I want to know the least about to the most, or do you think it's gonna happen the soonest? Like what? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, number one is who you want to know the most about, which we all know it's
Okay.
Koki.
Okay,
Spoiler
so
alert.
my three is Cohen.
All
Um
right, fair pick.
I don't know, something like the way he is like shrouded in secrecy, even though we kind of like know how strong. Like we even heard about like what Kanmei did and what Corinne has and everything. Like he's only like all we know about him. We haven't even seen his face. He's been a legend fighting against the Kin Six, but then when Okotsu came out, he didn't even come out to fight him. He sent Kanmei, which is kind of crazy to me because like Okotsu is a 6 GG level person, right?
Well,
So
I
why wouldn't
mean,
he come out and fight him
it's pretty
and stuff?
likely Conmay was even stronger than him even back then. That's the thing.
So you think like he didn't think he could handle it, so he sent Conmay. But I don't know.
Well, I
I
don't
feel
know.
like
I don't know if he didn't think he can handle it, but he's like, let me just send out the strongest guy to guarantee it. That's how I saw it, but who knows? My mic,
yeah.
yeah, it's working. It's working.
Okay. So like so that's some of the reasons. Like I don't know, something about like the way I view like always you always see me in the streams or whatever hyping up the older gen more so than the newer gen of people. Like how I hype up Rempa. I think he's stronger than Riboku in terms of a general. And like I think like the way I kind of see it, Cohen might be like on that level as well. Same with RSJ and the God of War, Gakuki in them. So I'm interested if Har is gonna either gonna downplay him because like you know how everybody else kind of got their hype first, then they got downplayed through time. Like they hyped up Riboku's Oblivion, nice taking his L's, but how late he's going to be showing up in the story. Cohen might just the first time we see him, he might take an L, which might suck. So I'm very interested in how Hara portrays him to be how he builds them up basically. So if he fumbles it, if he doesn't, I also want to see how like you always talk about like all the other generals like in Rempa and Oki, they're enemies, but they had like they had love for each other like through war. And I'm wondering if Cohen also feels the same, has the same philosophy, and if he doesn't, why is it? And I really hope it should be an interesting thing. I feel like it's one of like it's like a comparison to it's like meeting Whitebeard almost like he's like Whitebeard was the last remaining Yonko that's from the old gen, and that's what Cohen is almost right now because he's like the last remaining like top guy from the old gen. Do you assume he's from the old gen, right? I don't know if that was ever confirmed, and I think he's an old nigga, so I
I'm
assume he was
pretty
fighting.
sure he's old as fuck. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
he's old as fuck. Yeah.
and then to be the number one in Chu is kind of crazy because we know how strong Kaname was, and he was still under Cohen at that age. So to see how he got up there and like how like, his the feats he accumulated to get up there, especially seeing Chu is not getting much wars because they're that like all the people do is just guard their borders. I want to see like how he got that like that reputation of being the tiger of Chu, which tiger like one of like the alphas of the jungle, and that Chu is one of the strongest nations. So I want to see how he got that. That's what I'm really intrigued about. And it's like the last, he's kind of like the last named piece that's yet to be turned. Everybody else we
Yeah.
kind of like seen something about. He's the last one that's yet to be turned, and it's interesting to me why Har is like, even though we had several interactions with Chu, he never showed him. And then
Yeah,
we
I
we
agree.
both think that Shoheiken might go over there and take over their shit, possibly. Or maybe that I don't know if that was spoilers. I don't know, whatever. Possibly. So I wonder if he like if Kyoan's ever is gonna be like a guy in the limelight ever in the story, which would suck if he's not, because I think he's gonna be an amazing person to read. And if he's anywhere even close to being a Renpa type character, I know I'm gonna love him. But if he's gonna be like if horror fumbles them, that's fucking trash. 'Cause I personally don't like the characters, like character wise, of Chu. Like anybody, like I don't think that guy's a character I'm a stan. none of them have been really fleshed out, honestly. But even
Well,
if they were from,
you like Manu, right? But he's not really like the typical true character.
yeah, and he's a guy that he just recently came in, and he's like, yeah, in that little JUCO area. He's not like he is he's part of Chu, but like he's his own thing. So like, and that was like 683 chapters in. Like I don't like that Kakio, the one the Shin's homie there. I don't like the bow person. Corinne I bear, but she's kind of like Riboku syndrome with her cockiness. And then and she's like not as anywhere close to the character Riboku is, in my opinion. I mean, she hasn't been fleshed out as much as well, but neither has Riboku really in terms of his background and all that stuff. But in terms of his characterization, he has. And then like the last intriguing person is that prince that the little new prime minister she has with him. To be honest, so him and Cohen are really my top two people I'm interested in seeing in that side of things. So that's why I really have him.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
want he might have like a contrasting philosophy. He could be like a crazy fucker like Kanki, or he could be like an Oki or Rempa, you know.
yeah, I
And
feel like
he
it's pretty likely he's like an Okio Rempa because horror likes to do that like old man trope of like make the old man awesome. Like like you were saying, like he has a lot of hype, the leader of the last generation for Chu. Like someone that's usually hyped up to that level, he kind of has that like laid back personality like Oki and Rempa. Like that's tend to be like a cliche they like to use, and like you said, if it's anything like Rempa, we're most likely gonna fucking like them a lot. But I think the main thing is that he is from Chu, and a lot of Chu people they have that same kind of ideas about Chu, where they're like, oh, Chu's the great like super state, and
yeah
all like we need to conquer to bring honor to Chu. Like they kind of all have that mindset where their whole characters are pretty much revolved around like pride and like representing their state, and that's pretty much why they do what they do, which I don't think a lot of people are interested in, especially when they pretty much just get punked and get fucking destroyed after for all that hype that they give themselves into Chew. But yeah, I think he has a pretty good chance of being a very interesting character. I don't feel like he's one that Haru will humble. Yeah, well, he will humble him, but he's not gonna fumble him, right, Draco?
yeah. If he fumbles, I'll be mad for
I mean,
sure.
he's gonna get humbled at some point, but you would at least expect it
That
to be like an impressive humbling, like going down to Osen or something.
that's what I'm worried about though, cause I don't know. That's what I'm worried about though, cause how late he's gonna be showing up in the story. Like, is he even gonna have a time to be besides his already lore that's been put in the story, like Tiger of Chew and shit like that? Is he gonna get anything else? Is he gonna get a dub? Are we gonna read the annals of his history? Like, I don't know.
Well, that goes
You know?
back to the shit we've been saying about are we just gonna face Chew at the end before fighting them throughout the story? Like I think we have to fight them in many wars and shit.
Yeah.
So there's time for him to get some dubs.
Yeah, I think he definitely needs a dub before he takes an L because he's something deserving of that. Everyone else got that treatment. The only person that didn't is Oki, but like he's still prevalent in the story via other people. And I don't think Cohen is gonna have that luxury by the time he takes his L, be prevalent like through the story. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I see it.
But
I just
overall,
like,
yeah, I think he's very likely to be a very interesting character. Like someone like
yeah,
Rempa or Oki, if if you had knowledge of the Kingdom verse, you would expect them to be great characters. Because you're like, oh yeah, that's just
yeah,
the typical cliche. They're gonna be legends. They're gonna be like the Roger and Whitebeard type of shit, like you were saying.
yeah, yeah. He's like the last remaining. He could be Shiki. I don't know. That would be sick. And I definitely am interested if he holds like maybe because his whole pride that he has in Chu, he might block himself off from having like beers with Ken, who's their biggest rival, who was always known to be the military might of the seven kingdoms when they had the 36 GGs. So maybe he never really developed that relationship with them. So I want to see how he feels about them being their equal and fighting against them. He might
Yeah,
think they're
that would be
overrated.
interesting.
He might think they won't even make it in Chu. Same way Conmay did with the Kotu getting one shot.
Giving off like Rimbunkun Jobber vibes.
Yeah,
Oki wouldn't even have been a GG if he was in Chew.
no, no. He's gonna be GG, but he's gonna be like, I would have still been the best. That's I mean he was introduced early on in the story and he hasn't even gotten any like any shine, which is
Yeah, I
interesting.
wonder if that's for a reason.
Yeah, literally zero shine. They haven't even seen his face. We've seen a silhouette.
I feel like
I
his
mean, we have
design has to be like fucking beastly if you're gonna wait this long.
yeah. I saw like a picture of his design, like a half face, and I hope looks like he looks like a basic ass old general. I want him to
I
have some
mean that's
swagger.
that's not confirmed to be him.
Oh really? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. That isn't confirmed to be him.
Yeah.
See, that's my number. That's my number three.
All right,
Okay.
solid choice. What's your number two?
Oh, you're not gonna say anything from yours?
No, I already gave mine. We're just gonna go over
Okay.
yours.
My number two is Ohan. Right? I know he's been like having like is I genuinely like the effort Hara has been putting to develop him because we all like pre chapter 500 he probably is like the bottom 10 people's favorite characters, you know. They
Hmm.
always hate on him, like the cliches always hate on him. He seemed like a little spoiled brat that only viewed like what's that guy's name? I was watching your last video and Twale was saying like for Kanki's army it's more about like bonds they form, but like people think like loyalty is bred, not earned. But Ohan thinks it's bred as well. He thinks because he's loyal, he's a royalty. People should be loyal to him, and he's just better than people. So I think that was kind of a bad look from him. But I've always liked his style, and I've always liked the contrast, the back and forth he had with Shin. Because I feel like he kind of enhanced Shin a bit too, just to see like what he could have been if he was a person born in that situation. I mean, we also have Moten, but I feel like Moten's situation is less strict than because the Ohan situation. I feel like Ohan had more pressures on him than Moten. Seeing he had Oki in his family, and that was a side family, and he had Osen, who was an enigma that people didn't like, so he had to like break out of
Yeah,
those
that
humongous shadows.
Moten backstory was pretty G. I
Yeah,
like that shit. Like the one that we got with like some footnotes or something. The thing is about that part of Ohan, it's like horror could like I wanted to delve deeper into that mindset, but at the same time it is ancient China, so given the setting, you don't really have to expand on it unless you want to develop him as a character. But you can have him keep that mindset and just develop him in other ways. But like I said, like because of the setting, like you don't really need some deep explanation. Like that's the way everyone thinks pretty much. So he just inherited the viewpoints of his time period.
yeah, but it's still like yeah, I agree with that. But like, it didn't like leave a good taste in your mouth when he came to his character. I still thought he was like a very capable fighter, an intelligent person, kind of like an all rounder almost. Then now, like ever since we learned more about like we had more arcs with Osin, it kind of makes me also interested in their vibe between those two because we're kind of getting a slow evolution between them. But I still think there's a lot of like stuff. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's yet to be unturned between them, and I want to see how they like resolve. They get a resolution between themselves. 'Cause I feel like the both of them now are like in this little purgatory where yeah, they kind of have they're forced to respect each other, but then they both like never had that talk to like clear the air between them. To be honest, I feel like I don't know when the last time Ohan had an actual talk with his dad. Probably like when he held the spear, like he was so shocked. Like yo, he came and showed me how to use a spear, like a genuine talk like that. Do you think Osen went to his wedding, bro? I don't know. It's crazy.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah. And
Like it's
even
crazy.
that moment wasn't a talk because he was so surprised he talked to him that he was just dumbstruck. He didn't know what to say.
Yeah. Yes, I want to see that. I want to see how Ohan actually eventually realizes that he doesn't need Osen's fucking acceptance. He can just be his own person. Even though he's actually like 26 years old or whatever, how old he is now, and has a kid, I still feel like he's still looking at daddy to like and somewhat prove him wrong or accept him or something like that. And I feel like it would be nice to see how he combats that and realizes he doesn't need it. And I feel like once he realizes that he will get it from Osen. And also I want to see him like continue to like grow within how he treats others. Like he seems to be like before he didn't like even like the you kind of also even see it with his unit. Remember when Banyo got saved by Ohan and Banyo got saved by Shin, they were kind of like still talking back after they saved their ass. But now they're like just straight taking orders from Shin and like no snide comments here or there. They're working together seamlessly, which I like, and that shows that's resembling the growth that Ohan went through. And I think last arc was really important to him because he kind of humbled him. We're talking about Kohen getting humbled. Ohan got humbled by seeing that how actual general that's respected looks like with Akko, who actually gave him something that his dad couldn't give him, which is a time of day. You know?
Yep.
he gave him a time of day. He actually was like he showed him like it's not. I'm not trying to like. He showed him like there's not always like it's like something about Ohan is like seeing his like the chip he had in his shoulder. He always thinks people are disrespecting him, right? And Akko showed him that it's not about disrespect. It's about like this stuff bigger than you. You know, like we were trying to actually win this war, and you gotta humble yourself, little bah. And just because you're Osin's son, I'm not gonna treat you differently for the good and the bad. You know, I'm treating you like anybody should be treated, and that kind of like I don't know what you think about that, but I think that kind of like, especially after he messed up and then they reconciled after. I feel like that it finally clicked for Ohan. You know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I do think it was a nice little bit of development. Like you said, he always has a chip on his shoulder and he kind of assumes things that aren't really there just because of preconceived notions. And he did kind of learn from Uncle Aiko a bit, like what it's like to show respect to
Yeah,
someone other than Osen, I guess, or someone other than Sei, something along those lines. And I did like
yeah,
how he was like he did the old like Japanese greeting, like the hand on the fist, shit like
yeah,
that. Where it's like after he sees that Aiko believes in him and he's willing to bring him to like the meetings, show him his proper respect, that he's willing to show him the proper respect too. There's also something else I want to mention that
okay,
people kind of see Ohan as like very generic or one note in terms of his hate for Shin, which I think
yeah,
there's more nuance to that than people realize. Because
yeah,
when he first met Shin, it wasn't like already like hatred off the bat. It was like like people were laughing at them, right? When Shin said something. I forgot what Shin said exactly. I forgot the exact order of events, but Ohan's unit was like laughing at Shin's unit. And instead of Ohan just being disrespectful, he's like, "Oh, my apologies. We're just laughing because y'all actually think y'all compare to us." And like he was like being pleasant about it and being cordial. And then
yeah,
Shin like insulted him after. And then like that flipped a switch in Ohan. It's like, "Oh, okay. I was being nice to you and shit because I pitied you, but now you want to talk shit while being a fucking peasant? All right, motherfucker. Now it's on." Like it's not like he just hates anyone who's a peasant and like right off the bat he's just gonna be a dick to everyone. And we even see with like Sei, he shows him respect. Eiko, he learned to show him respect. Osen, he obviously respects him. So there is more nuance to how Ohan treats people other than he's just a bitch to everyone. And I feel like that is important because what we're gonna see later on is, and this goes back to what I've been saying a lot with just the gradual like slow development of him. Because if you're gonna have him hate Shin that much, one, I think it's important to not make it like completely one dimensional, add some nuance to it, and then two, you're gonna have to make it believable that he changes throughout the story into like a Vegeta type character. And shit like what he went through with Western Zao, where he got humbled, and now here he got humbled again. He's having to trust Shin, and he's kind of like biting his tongue instead of going out of his way to insult him in every opportunity. It's kind of like some nice slow development where if Ohan just like had one moment and now he's buddy buddy with Shin all of a sudden, like that would just be so corny to me. Like if you're gonna make him have like this deep hatred with Shin to the point where so many chapters have gone by, and granted they haven't like talked a whole lot throughout the story, but a lot of chapters have gone by and their relationship has pretty much stayed the same. So that should be like meaningful that that's been like that. And I feel like horror is doing a good job of making it feel meaningful by making the change being real slow and gradual and shit like that. So I feel like he does have big things with Ohan planned. Probably a lot of
yeah,
things with Osen. I mean, we did get some Mobu and Moten moments, and I'm assuming we're gonna get more Mobu and Moten moments later on in the story. And Osen and Ohan will be like the parallel to that. So I'm assuming we're gonna get some of that, some of his daddy issues. I do have that theory about how like he sees him possibly not being Osen's son, like that delves into his philosophy where he has this idea that people that are born into wealth are like they're born to be great, so to say. So to him that kind of proves that he's Osen's son, and that's like what he wants the most because he appreciates being part of like a wealthy and powerful family so much that he would just hate it if he turned out to be like just some bastard child that's, well, not a bastard child, but fucking not his real son.
he's definitely a I'll make him a bastard child. Yeah, his mom and the guy that she fucked were not married, so he's a bastard child. But he's
Yeah.
not Osa's bastard child. But yeah, his mom's.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
basically I think that's his philosophy where like Shin, he kind of proves that wrong by rising up the ranks, and that obviously fucking bugs him. And then on top of that, Shin's just the type of dumbass that Ohan doesn't like the outlandish like Oh,
the loud
yeah,
one, yeah.
always has something to say.
Like
Like,
you're a dumbass and you're still talking, bro. Shut up. Like
yeah,
what?
like I think like to begin with, like even like take away everything else. That's just like the type of person that rubs Ohan the wrong way to begin with, and then even after that, like he's constantly challenging his philosophy, that type of shit. So it goes real deep. Ohan's dislike for Shin, and I feel like it should be, like I said, gradual, and it should be a character arc where like he kind of wants to like Shin more, but at the same time, like he just hates that idea, and he's like trying to stop himself from thinking that way. So I feel like there's interesting dynamics that can go into play, and with just how much of the story we have left, there's just so much time to progress Ohan's character that I just find it very unlikely for the story to go like 1,200, 1,300 chapters, which I'm predicting it'll be, and then Ohan and Shin's relationship just pretty much stays the same. I find that very unlikely.
Honestly, it's funny to me because the way people talk about their relationship, I feel like they kind of exaggerate how bad it is. Anytime I see them, even recently and even back then, like I know it's like it went from people that hate each other to rivals that like kind of respect each other, but at the same
Pretty
time
much.
wanna pass each other, and then even to the point where when Shin found out that Ohan had a kid, the way he reacted, like I feel like he would not have reacted like let's say in Senyu, even though Shin is a good person, he still wouldn't. So he even changed for Shin himself because he realized like that Ohan is not he's not his past. Like he can change and become a person that which he did become like a person that he can talk to and actually trust or whatever. He actually wants the best for him. And the same thing for Ohan. He's not as outlandish or like as vocal about it as Shin. But I think like you said, it's like a slow build for him to where he's like slowly looking at Shin in a different light. To where someone that yeah, he may not be all the way his equal, but like he's somebody that like he won't like he can't look down upon as much as he used to.
Well, let me go back to what I said about him kind of like having thoughts about liking Shin more, but he hates having those ideas, so he kind of like
Yeah,
wants to repress them. Because we saw when they were fighting Rinko in the 2v1, and Shin was
yeah.
charging at Rinko, and Ohan thought Shin was gonna die if he
Oh
tried, and he's like,
yeah,
"Stop, Shin!" Like there's like some repressed feelings there, where like I think he respects Shin's will, and like seeing what Shin's like willing to do despite his background, like how far he's willing to go, all that shit, and maybe like Oki trusting Shin, like that plays into it or something. But
yeah,
there's like some repressed feelings there from Ohan.
yeah. He's kind of like it's like he's telling himself he can't like a guy that's not born, but then he over the time like the years he spent with him, he can't help but like him, and also which even worse, respect him. You know, because that's
Yeah,
like
and
more
then
he cares more
another
about
thing with
that.
like Shin is that like he got annoyed at Ohan, but I don't think there was ever like super hard feelings from Shin because he's just always like really laid back,
Yeah,
and like even we saw with I think it was Coalition when Shin was, or was, no, it was Sanyo. Yeah, I think it was Sanyo where Shin was like riding with Moten, and they were like congratulating each other for making it to 1K or something. And then Ohan comes in. Shin's like trying to say congratulations, and Ohan's like, don't even bother. And like I think the same thing happened just for another occasion. So like Shin's always trying to like reset it, like just start from zero and try to try to make peace, make amends, but Ohan's kind of always turning him down, and it's always like that situation where Ohan will probably just let out some shit talk here and there, and that'll be the end of it.
yeah. I agree, and I kind of like going back to what I was saying about how their relationship is. I'm actually even just fine if it just ends up like this, to like where he might not like the person, maybe because he finds him like not unsightly because of his where he's from, but like unsightly because of his personality, which is I'm fine with, and I think that's where it's trending towards. But I think he'll
It's
like,
like you and Stephen A. Matan.
yeah, 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 exactly like that. Like I can't talk to that nigga for 2 minutes, or like you and your brother. But listen, like I think that like I don't know the way I see him, like I feel like the Acom thing really helped him out, and I think I want him to grow more on that, and I swear like grow like that the foundation that's been set to change him, and I think Hara is slowly growing on it, like you said, and I just even like how he interacted with Shin this chapter, to where like he he was he never like spoke to him in like a no condescending, like the whole time he was speaking to him, it was like an equal standing, and then he was like basically what's the thing called the way I said like his actions are kind of reflected with the people he's under him, right? and the way they're treating Shin is like a whole vibe change, even from last arc where they were like still giving them digs and stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm
this,
not.
this
I'm not exactly sure if he said anything condescending when like he pulled him aside to talk about
yeah,
like awakening the armies, and even then, like the fact that he gave him the respect of, all right, we're gonna go in our own space, like away from everyone else, because this is just us two talking, that type of shit.
yeah. I'm talking about even this arc too. When he pulled up to him, he didn't like really say anything. He had to like, he dragged himself out of bed to like let Shin know this, which is like, I
Yeah,
mean, obviously he would do that for anybody.
going himself to make sure to like personally
Yeah,
deliver the message, which is like a respect thing. And like
yeah,
like I also said during that chapter review, like I like the various circumstances that led to that because it is development on his part, but it also like you could definitely see it in this case because like are you really gonna talk shit when you're on the verge of death? Like you just took a huge L, like you still gonna
yeah.
talk shit? Like just get that shit over with.
It's like second time the guy saved your ass. Can you really not respect him at this point, right? He kind of is forced to. I think that's a way of hard doing it, you know. It's like every time he saves them, he puts Shin closer to Ohan's level, at least in Ohan's eyes, right? Because you can't deny that. You can't deny results. And that's how I see it. And I want to like see that expanded on and see how they like their interactions and even just Moten, Ohan, and Shin interactions. And then also with Austin, like I was saying earlier, I want to see how eventually he gets over this chip on his shoulder with Austin. And I feel like whenever that happens, it's when Austin kind of finally sees him making his own path instead of like trying to like follow his or like trying to like his main goal isn't to become the best general, it's to get accepted by Austin. That's when Austin will accept him because I feel like in Austin's eyes, he's like that's not what he should be doing.
That
Really, he should
gay.
be like yeah, he should be part. He should be carving his own path.
Yeah, I think we don't have to worry about that because he already said that his dream or goal pretty much is like to be the best in the old family's history or something. So
Yeah,
I think it's still related to Osin because he wants to surpass him.
yeah. He
But
says it's not a spite Austin. Yeah, I feel like in terms of not spite him, but like be better than him, right? Like you were saying,
I
surpass
feel
him.
like he thinks doing that will finally make Osin proud of him, or like that'll be like that'll live up to Osin's expectations or something.
Yeah, for sure.
But who
Okay.
knows? And also, there's like there could be interesting dynamics with morality and shit. Obviously, the Shin moment at Sanyo, like it showed the difference between Shin being someone that's willing to risk it all for his beliefs, and then Ohan and Moten, people that think more practically, where they're like, we're not just gonna like risk everything we built up until now. Like we're gonna get to the top, and then we have control, and we can like actually make more of a difference because we are at a larger scale, we have more power, that type of shit. So I feel like that was build up for something later down the line, and then there's also what Gyon said about like if you raise the sword, then you must make sure to like fully strike it down or something along those lines. That like you're gonna
Yeah.
come across a situation where you're gonna need to be brutal, and like you better fucking do it. If you like killed everyone up until now, then you better not half-ass and like just stop your journey midway. Like you better fucking pull the trigger and do something horrible, quote unquote, because it will like be spitting in the face of everyone who suffered up until now for you to get this far. So it should be an interesting situation where it's like a moral dilemma, maybe with like a crazy tactic or something, and we're gonna get like Ohan and Shin's point of view on that. I think because they were both there when Gyoen was spitting that. So we'll see.
I hear you. Yeah. I just like them a lot. I mean, I like Moten as well, but I just never really understood why people hate him so much. I just think his style is nice. His uh his development last arc really made me like him even more. And then even now, I'm waiting for his bounce back. He's been taking a couple L's here and there, but I'm waiting for his bounce back. And it's gonna be big
Little
whenever he
side
gets there.
tangent, like he lost like 95% of his army. That's crazy. Like,
Yeah. You
is it
see how
is
fucked up Kanjo was? I thought he had died, but he's not dead, like you said.
yeah? Is it gonna be like the Yokoho aren't really elites anymore because most of his army like they have to build up to that? Like I don't know. That's kind of wild.
Maybe he's at least the one that's alive, you know? Kanjo's
Yeah,
unit.
but it's like a small like portion of it.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's how you nerf Ohan. Too strong.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he might gain some more later on too. That maybe like he gets another member of Akko's people. Maybe Akko joins under him. I don't know.
Yo, the
Something.
fucking the 54th Aiko dies theory.
Yeah.
All right,
Nah.
Aiko's dying this time, guys. Now he's dying.
I think Akko just joins him later. He
Calm
he
down.
he gets a moment where it's like the talks felt better in Ohan versus you, Austin, you little bitch. and he leaves. That's how he does it. Naki moment with him. I can see
Trash.
So joining him, but So is I don't think really fucks with him like that.
Yeah,
Brings
there's
to
no
the
way.
yeah
I don't see that at all.
yeah. It would
But
be
yeah,
cool to have
so who in the entire world could possibly be your number one playboy?
my number one is Yatanwa. Like
Oh, okay, okay.
I want her nithers. Nah, I'm joking. Fuck Yatanwa. Like what? Shout out to Tone. Shout out to Chad. Shout out to all the Yatanwa dick riders. Twale. My number one is definitely Conky. Like come on. I have spoken too much. Talked to too much people. Spent too many hours talking about Conky and what he's gonna achieve and like all the stuff the levels he's gonna reach and all that stuff for me to not have him as my number one. Like I even personally, not even gonna lie to you, I don't like that whole why is he like this because of Ray's shit. I feel like that's kind of simplifying it. I want Oda to delve deep dive, do a deep dive,
Oda.
understand what Hara, do a deep dive on him, explain like, and I don't want it to be his past explains his actions. I want it to be like he had a past, but the way he views life in its own creates this way of thinking for him, and it takes him to the heights that he's gonna go. I, is this only about character, or is it just like overall like what he does type of thing?
It's mainly focused on characters, but if it's like hype things, like that could play into it.
Yeah,
I just don't
exactly.
want it to be like only a hype thing.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, sticking to his character for now is like I want to see like how he like he's gonna face like other top tier people, and I want to see how like Hara kind of like sheds sheds some light. Sorry, someone texted me. Shed some light into like his ideal his ideals differences like say the same Shin conversation, but let's say he has that conversation with Ruboku, and I want to see how someone that is so opposite of him, that Ruboku doesn't won't kill people unless it's necessary, and he's also against this unification versus Kaki, who's also against unification, but will do whatever case necessary to win. You know, I want to see how they contrast, and if they ever have like an Osen Ruboku talk, right? I want to see something like that. I want to see like how if we can get to it, like how he was able to like how what made him decide to like go down this path, because he could have been a mountain bandit, right? And just that's I'm kind of being redundant. Like
Well, I
he
think
was
that was already explained because he just like he did warfare and then he's like, oh, I kind of like this. I'm kind of fucking good at this.
yeah, but that's not the reason you go as far as he does. That's why like even Raito noticed like yeah we got everything we needed here, like, and we can
You know,
still fight, but then
upping the stakes.
he
You know, just making
yeah.
it more exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Why does he like to live life on the edge? You can even also see it with the way he fights. Like he puts himself at risk. You know, why is it like that? Does he have a suicide mission? I feel, like all that stuff. Like I want to understand a bit more deeper. And even though like we always agree like he doesn't have much relationships, I want to see how he truly feels about his subordinates. Because people say like he kind of puts up a front with the like I'm not a sentimental person. Why do you have to clarify that when we're talking about Osen? Like we get like if you're not a sentimental person, just say it and people would know. You know. But he still clarified it, and then the whole Mogu shit, he's like doing a whole tribute for homie, and then now I feel like he's gonna do something big for Raito. I want to see like, and then he's also like, I like how he's like, I want to know how why he has to be a reason somebody is so good at like understanding other people's minds, you know, the way he's so good at like psychological warfare. It had to have been something he experienced to get to that. You can't just be like can't you think you can be a prodigy at that? Like, oh, he will do this because this. Like, I feel like some
I
shit
mean,
you went
if your
through.
name is Conky, why not?
Now I feel like it's gonna be something he went through, causing to like understand people super well to the point that anybody he comes across, he can meet them for a few minutes and reconstruct their way of fighting and the way they will do things, the same way he did with Keisha, you know. And now he's doing with Kocho and shit, in my opinion.
I think
So
like a thing about Kingdom is that there's like certain characters like Conky where they kind of have the same demeanor pretty much at all times. And on one hand, you could be pessimistic about it and be like, "Oh, it's just a one note character. He just has one emotion." On another hand, like even people in real life, like they can have like the same attitude throughout the day and like just months, years. Like they could just be, it could seem like they just have the same fucking demeanor at all times, and you can assume like through writing that it's just due to lack of depth, or you can assume it's like a well thought out philosophy that just they're at the point where nothing bothers them, or like they just want to have fun for whatever reason, whatever you want to guess the philosophy is. And I feel like Hara's done a good enough job at writing characters to where it's very fair to assume there's depth to him like just enjoying himself at all times. And I also think that, you know, like you were saying with Riboku, like there's interesting dynamics there with how he compares to Riboku, how he sees Shin
Mm-hmm.
like as like an evil person, all that type of shit. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
already like gone in depth at points about what I think about Kanki. I feel like he just hates hypocrites, so to say. Like
Yeah.
like I was saying in my video like a couple days ago, he has like his own way of loyalty, and like you can argue that way of
Hello.
loyalty shows more respect than the other ways people show respect. Were you gonna say something?
Yo, give me 1 second. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know if I should keep going and have Draco miss out on it, or if I should just wait. Alright, fuck it, whatever. I'll just keep going. So what I was gonna say is that the way he views shit, it's like he sees kingdoms as like just a farce, as like all this talk about greatness, all that shit is just cap pretty much, and everyone's just trying to build this image of themselves, and nothing is based in reality when it comes to that. And we even see shit like when he killed Haku Kisai, the guy in Wei, where if he was gonna admit that he doesn't have all this Wei pride, or I forgot what the exact dialogue was, but if he begged for his life, something along those lines, that he would have actually let him go. Maybe he was capping, we don't really know, but I think that ties into the Mogu thing where he like told Mogu to beg for his life or like show some humility or like let go of his pride or something and he'll join him. And then Mogu also had some, he also like tempted him with like, oh, you can fight in bigger wars, that type of shit. But I feel like Mogu did something along those lines to gain his respect. And I also feel like this is going into like deep speculation about his backstory and shit, but maybe his father was a fucking piece of shit and he was like the leader of a bandit gang or something, and maybe he did fucked up things. He had Conky's life. He made his life pretty terrible, but what Conky like always hated deep down is how he tried to justify it in one way
I'm
or
back.
another. Okay, I was basically just talking about how
Yeah, I
basically
think
going
I know
into
what
how
you're
he
saying.
how he hates
Yeah.
hypocrites, and he kind of sees like kingdoms as like a farce pretty much. Like they always like go on about greatness and how great they are, but like Kanki said, it's basically a place for the strong to bully the weak, and they want to act like it's about loyalty, it's about
Yeah.
building up
That's
like
a.
legacy, that type of shit.
It's like it's like some way that people like hold like onto monarchies, right? He thinks he came from the mud, right? He knows what the like when you try to find how good something is, you look at deep down into the annals and try to see if it's good or not. He was at the annals of mud. He's seen all the trash. He knows how the world works. And then when he sees people try to flip this dog eat dog world into some like divine intervention, like I was born into this and I mean you follow me, and like you for some reason at that border our country changes, but then everything past that border we don't care about, even though there's still people and shit. We're somehow better, and all this like nationalism and shit. He thinks it's stupid. And at the end of the day, it's a dog eat dog world. People will just try to do what's best for themselves, and
Yeah,
then
and
they,
even
they
like
just try
in the
to
borders, there's like slaves and shit. There's people that are
yeah
clearly like living not as good lives as other people. Like
yeah
higher ups, like soldiers, they can go like kill someone lower than them just because they feel like it. Like
yeah
shit like
exactly.
that. Like there's a lot of injustice that you pretty much have to like bend the knee to and just be like, oh, it's just the way of things. Like that's just how it goes. And like
It's like the whole thing with it's like we're both assholes, right? But at least at least I'm not trying to hide it, you know? They're trying to
yeah,
hide it behind all this stupid like nations and all that stuff that you were saying. Like it's stupid, and Ikage does not
like
like
I've
that.
been saying for a while, I feel like Conky's like that kid quote about all the compared to
Yeah,
compared to
yeah.
us, the world government, like we're actually honest and like cute in comparison. I feel like Conky embodies that. That
Literally, he's straight up with like how he might be cruel as hell, but everything he does, like people have done worse. Like even like Kosho right now, like he's doing the same shit he's doing it, but he's doing it in the name of a nation. That like, what do you mean? He's still killing people, bro. Like same shit.
yeah, and that's why he like offered to free Haku Kisai
Yeah.
if he was willing to like beg for his life, because I think he even thinks like the pride of soldiers, all that type of shit, like even that's a farce. Like he goes that deep down psychologically where they want to convince themselves that they're like honorable and prideful and brave like so much that it's just like hypocritical obviously, and it's just like shameful. Like you're
Yeah.
not willing to live in reality, and I feel like that's why he went under Mogul. Like we said before, Mogul probably offered him to fight in like better wars and shit, but he was probably like telling him, okay,
He was
show
straight
some
up with him.
humility, like
Yeah.
admit that I'm better than you, like admit something that like your general's pride is like worthless or something. Like you just want this for the prestige, like you just want to put your name down in legacy or something along those lines. And Mogul was willing to admit it or like show humility in some way, like give up his pride. And Conky's like, all right, at least you're honest with yourself. I can respect that.
Yeah. It's like now they always say like because the one thing Mogu's good at is like understanding also people himself and like scouting like talents and stuff. The same way he treated Shin, foot soldier, he didn't like have any what's that called, like any just ego or like hubris or like pride on his position and stuff. He still treated him like a person, and I feel like what Kanki's used to is what Choto did, like, and what Ohan does. He's just a bandit, you know. Like, what do you mean he can't be anything? And the Mogu was like the first person to like come to him and convince him of a better wars, and b like he didn't try to come up to him like in a sly way, like, yo, you're a bandit, you have nothing better to do but to like but fight, just come under me.
Yeah, you might have like begged him or some shit,
Yeah,
got on his knees and shit. But yeah, like it's interesting because one, like it can tie into unification. It's just another viewpoint to which, like, and another opposing viewpoint, just more angles on the whole unification thing, which is obviously important because that's like the main thing about the story. And then another thing is like just someone as fucked up as Conky. Like that's a great way to like have contrasting characteristics. Like it just makes you realize how much he cares about X or Y for him to like hold those ideals up so highly despite being a fucked up person. Like you can just tell he has a lot of care into that. It means a lot to him. And it's just unique. Like obviously Conky's a very unique character, so seeing what makes him tick is bound to be interesting. Unless it's just executed terribly, but yeah. Conky, I don't know if his backstory is gonna be the most interesting thing in Kingdom or like a top 5 moment like Chad I think was saying. But I'm pretty confident in it being like up there. It's gonna be interesting, I think. But yeah, do you have anything else to say about him? This your shot, your favorite character? The guy you would get a body pillow of if you had the chance to? Nah, he's muted. Okay then. I guess we can just end it there. I don't know when Draco's gonna come back, randomly muting himself and shit. But yeah, this is Draco's top 3 characters he's most looking forward to getting fleshed out in Kingdom. Who would have thought Conky was number 1, am I right? But yeah, some interesting choices. I do like that we got to talk about Ohan and Cohen. You can't go wrong with that choice. But
of
yeah,
course, spin right.
spin. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to say?
Nothing much. I like this topic. I was surprised that you want to do like 2 of them, but the stream's been lacking the Draco quality tonight, and I feel you. But overall, I haven't really watched your video, but you guys kind of picked 6 great ones that like I was kind of struggling for some, but I already had one of them already locked in with Conky, so it was easy. But the other 2 was kind of something I had to think about. But
Yeah.
overall, it was a good video idea, and I genuinely want to know more about them, especially mostly Conky, and hopefully we get some more this arc.
Also, Shin, like, obviously he would be a main candidate, being the main character and all, but
Uh-huh.
he he barely did make it to my top 3. And I do want to make a separate video on Shin, a scripted one, so I
It
think
was
it's
kind of
better.
redundant to mention him, I think, because he's the main character, like you said.
Yeah,
That's why I
but
had to
that
mention
also
him off.
means he's the most likely to get the most consistent development throughout the story. So that is pretty substantial.
Hmm. I also like, even though it happened, I just like, I want to just touch on this, right? Because I was in the last chapter discussion. Everyone for a long time would mention like how Conky's army is not loyal to him. They can do whatever they want. They're only following him because he's giving them jewelry and sex and slaughter and all that stuff. But then I've always said that is, I mean, maybe it's redundant to you, John, because you have a brain, and most people don't listen to this. I've always said like there's multiple ways to be a good leader. You don't have to be the hoo ha, like whatever morale boosting type, like all like almost the 99% of the people are, or lead by the fact that you're the the young master and all that stuff, right? There's multiple times to be a leader, and I think Kaki found the best way to lead the situation he's working with, and which is to like never let them think that they stop being bandits, right? He lets them do whatever they want, but at the end of the day, it's like if he tells them to follow them, they'll follow him just because he gives them the best life that they possibly can. And then we see with the whole Rado situation, right? that the fact that he gave him that much freedom, which actually drew them into Conky as part of his charisma and leadership. The fact that he gave him so much freedom, the fact that they're only there, they all know what they're there for, and they're not there to like be the best, best general, best lieutenant, best all that. Like that kind of like he never really pushed anything. I got like you said it in your stream. You're like he always tried to make it like at the end of the day, it's your choice, right? I'm not gonna force you to do anything,
Yeah, I
and
feel
that
like the fact that you can argue Conky shows the most respect to peers than anyone because of how he like views them as equals in a
yeah,
sense.
he does,
Like
he
I feel
does,
like
yeah.
that's a very intriguing like philosophical dilemma that if you wanted to you can spend hours arguing about.
Exactly, and that kind of goes back to why you think about like people like how why he thinks people are hypocrites, right? Like he 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 doesn't agree that like status and position and all that stuff kind of makes you a better person than people, but people like Ohan and like you said, that's the time he was born in. All believe that, right? And he's like going against the grain with that, but also being and then he's the one that's being called an enigma, right? It's funny. Well, he has the best understanding of how to deal with people. Maybe Mogo as well. So yeah, that's something I really was intrigued about, and I kind of felt vindicated because the fact that he lets them be as free as possible makes him honestly one of the like the best leaders, even though he has some deserters. Because look at the loyalty they show him, you know, and it's nothing. It's not fabricated loyalty. It's actual, genuine loyalty through just his charisma and the way he moves. You know, his intrigue, which I really like. I think that's kind of the most genuine type of loyalty. You're being loyal with this guy because you fuck with him. I'm being friends with him because I fuck with him, right? It's not like because I was taught that if this guy is the lord of my city. I'm supposed to be loyal to him, like Bihei seeing Sai. Like, what has Sai ever done for Bihei? Why is Bihei so shocked? You know, I pissed that would not happen in Kaki's army, or Kaki would not do that.
Yeah, I know some people are probably going to get triggered at you saying that's like in a way the best type of leadership.
I think it
And
is.
let me well, not from a practicality in terms of like strength standpoint because the people
Yeah,
that are under people like Osen or Mobu that might think like the way you don't like, it's just they're so brainwashed to think that way that it's
yeah,
effective.
yeah. But that's why I was saying the most genuine type of like actual following nigga, and the only person that kind of comes close to that would be Shin and how he treats his people. He googled them. And that's what Kanki's kind of doing too, which is funny because Shin doesn't like how Kanki does things. In reality, they do it similar. At least in this situation.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, what we've been talking about on like his philosophical ideas, it's probably the best route to go with Conky because it ties into having more more dynamics with him and Shin. Like Kara should go delve deeper into like Conky and Shin's like ideas on unification, all that type of shit.
Yeah, for sure.
If
I
Conky's an
agree.
antagonist in Yan and then something along those lines happen, that would be fire.
Indeed. I co-sign that. Yeah. I'm just saying, Kaki is one of the most interesting characters in all of manga. If you hate on him, you're trolling. I think he's in an amazing position of being, which kind of makes Kingdom what it is. Like he's on the good side, but not a good person. So he kind of like forces you to root for him while not liking him. But sometimes some people like him, like me, because I enjoy that kind of character. I've enjoyed it all my life. So yeah, that's how I see it. Good discussion. Thanks for having me in it.
And it just saying like Allah's gonna send you to hell for liking Conky. It is
Yeah,
what
that's
it is
kind of
there.
it is kind of contradictory to what I truly believe in life, right? I'm anti-violence and stuff, but like with something about them eyes, they said, right? Okay, that's it.
Whoa there, whoa there.
Scratch
All
that
right,
part, player.
we'll just end it at that.